Okay, let's start with this stream or video. Stop all the playback. I'm not going to wear any headphones because I don't need sound from what I'm doing. So there's probably not going to be any feedback. Let me see. Right, there's a lot of noise going on. There's a fan blowing right into my face because it's hot. And there's construction noises outside the window. So hopefully I can be understood. I am testing, I'm not really testing, I'm playing around with the interactive fiction. That's a word for text adventure games like we had in the 80s, where you just type actions and you get a description back of things that happen. I had this program for a while. This is called Inform 7. Inform 7 was made to emulate the same format as the old Infocom games, like Zork or the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or a few others. There's like 50 games or something. And originally this was a regular language, you know, like C++ or something like that. You had to create objects, classes, have conditions and things, but the version 7 of Inform allows you to kind of program in a natural language, such as this. Right now I have I'm working on a game that's based on a PDF that I have for a role-playing game. It's called Eclipse Phase. It's an adventure. Obviously it's much less detailed than an actual computer game. It has a few rooms, things that you have to come up with, and instead what I'm doing is when I have a description in the PDF, I'm going to just use that. For example, this text here is almost word for word what you're supposed to tell your players when you run this module on a tabletop role-playing setting. So I copy that as an intro to the game. It says, you awaken to the distant sound of klaxons. Your breath turns to frost on the glass window of the Ego Bridge pod. Your naked body is covered with the sticky, fibrous remnants of suspension fluid. Discard protein strands. Your muse flickers online and flashes through its diagnostics. This was plural because it was meant to be told to multiple players, so I changed it to just you. The local mesh is down. Something seems to be jamming wireless signals. You last remember checking in for backup, not a risk leave. Your muse tells you that 2 weeks have passed since that time. That's not a description of a room, that's a text that shows when play begins. If I start the game, you can see that this intro text is shown once before the actual game starts. So you get that text. There's a how do you call this? A title card, I guess. Name of the game. Interactive fiction by Neutromancer. That's my handle here. I may change it if I want to maybe give credit. Right now I'm writing the programming, I guess, but I'm not set on taking credit for all the work. Just right now that's default. It's easy to change. You can see here, I can just change it. I can just say by a bunch of people, and then I maybe list a little credits, like type credit to see who I don't know wrote this game or something. I'm not sure. This is not a game. I'm not selling this, publishing or anything for now. So I don't think that's much of a problem. I'm just playing with myself, so to speak. Let's see. You see there's a release number. That's because, you know, there's somewhere you can change that to release 1.0, 1.1. I don't know what the serial number is. I think it's the date and the version I'm using of the program. Okay, medical lab. Now, starting room. Since I don't have many descriptions for rooms, I've been using ChatGPT to help me come up with some brief description for rooms. Let me see. Do we even have a chat for this? I'm not sure. I'm not keeping up with the chat. This is a very, how do you call it? Improvised stream right now. I haven't set up anything properly. So hopefully I will notice if somebody starts watching. And maybe I can follow that. Let me see. Okay, so go to my channel and mute it. Oh, I got spam. Great. Buy spam. How do I delete spam? I don't even remember that. Reply, pin. No. You know what? I don't care. If I don't start getting like a ton of spam, I might. Move icons. What's move icon? Oh, I can delete it. Okay, bye. I'm streaming this on YouTube and Twitch, so I guess I have to keep up with two screens until I set up something properly. Okay, let's keep going. So ChatGPT gave me this after I described more or less what I wanted for the room. I said the Kepler's medical lab emanates a clinical calm, bathed in sterile light. Rows of thin medical gowns hang ready, while a nervy faber. That's a lot of game terms here. Maybe not make any sense. I'm trying to. I would consider making some sort of encyclopedia for this, but there's sci-fi terms for the setting. Hands with the potential to produce essential medical supplies. 8 healing baths, gently bubbling. That's all embellishments from ChatGPT. I tell him to say that. Promise rapid recovery from physical ailments. Surrounded by 10 morph storage tanks, all empty. It told me originally they all had morph ready to use, so I just changed that. In the heart of the room, the Eco Bridge invites contemplation, a portal to transfer consciousness into a new morph. Diligent Dr. Bot stands by, and a fully equipped surgical setup underscored the station's commitment to both biological and technological health. So that's what we have right now. We have a room, a single room. There's nothing here really. I put a box here and platform just to test things, but they're not really part of the game. I just needed to have a muse that I'm carrying that I cannot drop. And I cannot put it in a box. And I cannot put the muse on a platform. Right, so I had to do an override for that. Alright, quit. I quit. Game's over. Now, how does this programming language work? The way it works is you just start defining things. For example, how do I start making a room? I start with saying, okay, I create a region. Parts are just, you know, they're not important for the engine. It's just a way for me to have some kind of categorization of things. You can have like a part be a chapter of your game, or you can have a, you know, what do you call it? Just a section that says, oh, here's what all my items are. You know, here's what all the people you can talk to is defined. In this case, I have a part that's called rooms. I'll go over the definitions later, but rooms. The Kepler is a region. So right now I'm making a kind of like an abstract region that can contain rooms. This is good because I can use that to, maybe if you look out of a window, I can give you a description of what's outside that window. If this was some kind of a game set in a medieval land, you could have like a region of mountains, and you can see mountains on the distance, no matter what room you are in. So medical lab is a room in the Kepler. The Kepler is region. It's a space. It's basically a space station in the fiction. And here is just verbatim all the description we just read on the right. If you see here, play, this is a set of instructions. The player is in the medical lab. Okay, this is the first time it happens. Is I'm saying that the player is an object, like the things you can pick up are objects. When play begins, do this. And now I add an item and another item. This is not sequential. This is not something that happens after the next. So the player is not being moved to the medical lab. We don't say this and then put the box in the medical lab. It doesn't matter where in the text. I can put it up here. It doesn't make any difference. The game knows that the boxes are contained in the medical lab and the platform supported in the medical lab. Okay? Right. They're irrelevant, so I'm deleting them. Now, what is this? Definitions. An AI is a kind of person. A person is already defined in the game, in the engine. Is basically anything that can, NPC, let's say an NPC, creature. The game has subtypes for like men, women, animal, and I'm creating one that's neither, that's like a AI, that's like a program or something. Your muse is an AI. This might seem like I'm describing something that your muse is, but I'm actually saying an object called your muse, this is the name now, is an AI. It doesn't have to be in the same line. Makes sense if I'm going to have several of these. They don't have to be. It doesn't need to be part of the definition. In fact, this will probably be in the player section or something. Your muse is carried by yourself. Now the game already knows that your muse is an object. Now your muse is carried by yourself is tell me that yourself is an object. It's not player. So player can change. So if I have like two people in a game, one's called like John and the other's called like Mary, I can say that now the player is Mary. And suddenly everything that talks about the player is talking about Mary, and you are inhabiting Mary's, persona. So there are ways of switching who the point of view character is during the game. But by default, the game will create an object called yourself. That's the name. That's not a verb or whatever it's called. It is the actual name. Yourself. It's a thing. And the player is being indicated as being that object called yourself. It says, instead of dropping your muse, say, you cannot get rid of your muse that easily. I'm preempting trying to drop the muse. If I try to drop the muse, the program will normally say, well, this is a thing that I have on me. I can drop it. Usually you cannot pick up things that aren't, you cannot pick up persons unless you I change that for a definition, like an AI maybe you can pick up, I don't know. So I can drop it, but then I can take it back. But muse is supposedly in your brain, so you cannot drop it. Because the game doesn't consider dropping the same as inserting a thing into another thing, or putting a thing on top of another thing. There are three different actions. So what I'm saying is, okay, this is what happens if you try dropping your muse. It says this, and because instead it doesn't allow you to actually do it. Instead of inserting your muse into something, try dropping your muse. Why? Because that means I don't have to do this 3 times. I don't need to say 3 times the same thing. I can just say, just try dropping it. It will fail. I say, if you're trying to put it on something, just try dropping it, and it will fail. It's the same message. This is a trick I did. I don't know if this is the best way, but you know what? I just don't want people to drop their muse. I don't know what I'm going to do with the muse yet. I thinking that the muse can be your like guide, could be your encyclopedia. It's actually a person that can talk to you and give you advice, basically. Maybe you get like a virus on your brain. Your muse could, go insane or something. I don't really know. Mostly those are the kind of things that are probably game over scenarios. So I don't need to worry too much about that. Okay, so that's how the game works. This is almost as simple as a game can be. I have one room with a description, and right now there's nothing in it. If I replay, you can see that the box empty is gone. There's no box. Now, I want to be able to interact with things, and it says here there are 8 healing bats. Can I interact with the healing bats? Look at healing bats. I cannot. You cannot see any such thing, because I'm just saying they are the healing bats. That's just a description of the room. It doesn't make it true. So I have to actually create objects. Now let's create an object. It's called healing bats. What are they? Our scenery, sorry. Our scenery in the medical lab. What scenery? It's a kind of thing. What's so special about scenery? Scenery is just a thing that has some default behaviors. You cannot move it, you can pick it up, you can look at it, and it won't show on the description of the room. Usually you have an object, you know what it said before is you can see a box here. If this wasn't scenario, it will say you can see healing bats here. But I already said there are 8 healing bats. I don't need the game to repeat it, to enumerate all the things that are already in the description. So this is just scenery, and the name itself is trying to tell me, okay, this is not an important object. Or maybe it's important only in the sense that you can look at it and maybe get information, but usually it means it's just backdrop. No, it's just something to look at, get a fun description, and that's it. Okay, so I could say something like, I can play. What happens if I do play? Look at healing bats. You see nothing special about healing bats. Now, the game is capitalizing healing bats because healing bats is capitalized here. If I said the healing bats, he will think healing bats is the name, but it's it's not a proper noun. So he will try to say, the program will try to say the healing bats when it's appropriate, or just healing bats with a lowercase when it's not. Since I'm not supposed to be, that's probably a good change. So, let's do that. The healing bats. You can also do give it a weird name like Healing Bats 999, and I can override the name. I can say the actual name is something in quotes called Healing Bats in lowercase. Let's just Healing Bats. Our scenery in medical lab. These are special tanks meant to heal. Right, this is a very crappy description, but it's giving the game something to say about them. Look at healing bats. They are special tanks meant to heal. Take healing bats. You can't see such a thing. Take healing bats. That's Hardy Portal. That's a default. That's it's not great, but you have so many items again. You're not going to want to give every single item description when you try to take them. So push healing bats. Is push a verb? I don't know. It's fixed in place. Okay. Those are interesting descriptions, or I don't know, texts. Now I could do something better. I could Google healing bats for Eclipse Phase. Let's try that. Eclipse, I'm not showing that, but I am going to Google it. Eclipse Phase healing bats. There's a bunch of healing and repair, and I could type something like right, regeneration. Yeah, there's not many, a lot of description of the healing bats, but alright, let's type something like this. This is not very appropriate for a adventure game. Characters, that's people. Healing bats will heal even the most grievous wounds in a matter of days, and can even restore people who recently died or have been reduced to just a head. Obviously somebody has to put you in a healing bat, so if you're alone and you die, well, that's it, right? And apparently it takes weeks. So now there's a new description. Let's look at that. Look at healing bats. Alright, that's great. That's very informative. It's not really a description, so I don't know why I get that from looking at healing bats, but if I have a better description, I'd probably replace that. Just an example. Yeah, so I should be doing that for other things. Maybe it's not scenario. Maybe eventually I will make the healing bat something that you need to solve a puzzle or something. That right now is just an example. Let's see. Let's make another room. I have my map, kind of. It says, what are the rooms? Okay, the rooms are medical bay. I have medical bay. Let me see, can I show that? Show that. Let me show a picture of. Let me see. Let's go to my browser window. Okay. Let's do search for continuity Eclipse Phase Hitler map. This is a map of the space of the thingy. Okay. Labs, medical bay, greenhouse. Open this. That didn't work. An image. Great. I have no idea how to zoom that, but okay. So let's make labs. Let me see. Cold start. Learn the Kepler labs, layout, gear. I don't really have much. I guess I can just make it up. Labs. Right, let's just type northwest of medical. What is this? Medical lab are the labs. What is in the labs? That's a good question. I have no idea. Let's see. Labs. Labs. There's no description for this. I guess there are science labs, right? This is the medical lab, and these are probably... Sorry, the medical lab. So this must be scientific labs, I guess. These are science labs. Now, I am not sure that means these labs. Okay, the medical labs are emanates. We wrote what's wrong here. Human scenery. Okay, are the labs? There's having problems because these names are too similar. Science labs. No. Northwest of the okay, I don't think this is right. It's a room called the labs. Okay, let's redo this. Labs, a room in the Kepler. These are science labs. Labs are northwest of medical lab. I'm probably doing something wrong, but oh, this works. Okay. Northwest labs. These are science labs. Okay, that's good. Southeast. I don't need to say there's an exit called Southeast here. Oh, hey there. Hi, DC. Just trying some stuff. All right. Let me see. All right. So, what's cool about this is that I can see my index. Is it my index? Yes, this is the index of my game. So this is auto-generated from all the things I have, so I can see all the objects, can even see the world. This is a map of the world that was generated. Apparently the game considers the labs. Oh yeah, I say that they're in a room in the Kepler. If I don't see this, so I don't say this, they won't be a room in the region. They'll be in a different region, like this. Right? Not in any region. Labs. Okay? So I don't know if there's a way to just group everything that's in a region, but that's fine. This is a crappy description. It's probably a better idea to just do these simple descriptions. I may say something like to do here, but I don't want to fill my game with to dos. So I will have to do another pass and just rename them. Okay, let's see what else. Greenhouse is a room in the Kepler. The greenhouse is southeast of medical lab. I will have to recompile, like run the game every single time, but I just like to make sure there's no errors. Okay, there's an error now. Greenhouse is in northeast. Yeah, that's great. a great a word I invented. Northeast, southeast. Great, southeast. There's no description. I didn't say I give it any description, so it's just nothing. But if I go northwest, why is it giving me description every time? I think it's because this is verbose. Oh, I see. Verbose off. It's now in verbose mode. I don't know how to change it back. Let me see. Inform 7 verbose mode. Brief? No. It's not brief. What's the opposite of verbose? No idea. Let's, I mean, it's just giving me a description every time. I don't remember that being the default though. Let's try again. Northwest, southeast, northwest, southeast. It should be not, it should be giving me no description the second time I visit the room. I don't know if I have to do something about it. Let me look at documentation, because we have documentation. Verbose. Use verbose for inscriptions. Use brief. Verbose for description. Super brief. Oh, the default is now verbose. Until 2010, it was brief. So let's add this to the game. Use brief room descriptions. Default in games like Infocom is you can see the description once. After that, you have to look. So I can see medical lab. You can see labs, and now I just see the name. Perfect. And this doesn't have a description. I say look, I get description again. Nice. I know they changed that. That's interesting. I guess people now just have more room on their screens. They can just keep reading the description every time. So this is used to be because you could do something like northwest, southeast, southeast, and chain commands to go from like one end of the map to the other. Like chain 10 commands, so you have to reach like 10 different rooms, and yeah, reading it will get like annoying. You have to get, like, fill the screen, hit more, space bar to continue. So that's why the game doesn't tell you description every time. Okay, very good. Stop. Quit the game. Yes. I should probably do all the rooms, so let's do that. Greenhouse. Let me see. What else do we have here? We have Op Center, Computer Bay, Power Plant, Crew Quarters, Rec Center, Cargo Bay, Machine Shop. Okay, I just need to figure out, is it north? I mean, this is space, so technically you don't have directions, so this could be like, this could be north. So what I have to decide is this north or is it northeast? There's not much of a difference really. Let's say these two are north and south. There's no point in making everything diagonals. That's just annoying. So yeah, I'm going to say this is north-south, and this is southwest. Okay, let's go back to the scene. I'm not going to type descriptions, I'm just going to make the rules. Okay, let's see. North, Ops Center, room in the Kepler. Ops Center is north of Greenhouse. Computer bay. Can I say? I mean, like there are ways to make it briefer, but I think I prefer to be more clear. Just say it's a room every time. Maybe there's a way of making this like not saying every time region, like all the rooms below are part of Kepler or something. Maybe I'll change that if I figure out a way. Computer bay. I can say this. I can say it is north of Ops Center. The language will recognize this as the last thing I mentioned, which is the computer bay, or the last thing I created. Look at my map. Now I have a cool map. I have a greenhouse, I have a medical lab, I have labs, I have the Ops Center, I have the computer bay. Now, isn't that cool? I love this. I love this program. Cool thing is that this will generate a small binary file that you can just play almost any interactive fiction interpreter. So this is a standard. This is not just a program that can run this game. This is a format that's already well known, like TATS or I don't know, there's a bunch. Let me see. Kind of like, you know how Lucasfilm games have like their own format. They can be replayed by SCUM or things like that. Yeah, this is a format that you can play, and there's many different versions that you can use to run the game. You can even use graphics, which is really cool. Alright, let's keep making rooms. Okay, south cargo bay. It's a room in the Kepler. I could look up regions. Let's see, regions and the index map. Public areas are region. Yeah, you can just do this. That makes more sense actually. I am going to change this around. You don't have to say it's a room, you can say is east. Sometimes that will cause an error. If there's ambiguity, but let's say I can say just, let's remove all the Kepler stuff. Outside this greenhouse, southeast of medical lab. Still works. Now they don't have region, so the lab is a room, and greenhouse southeast, Ops Center is southeast medical lab. This is a greenhouse. I just need to check if this doesn't mess it up. It doesn't. Okay. So let's do this instead. Kepler is a region. Region. I can say medical lab, labs, greenhouse, Ops Center, computer bay, cargo bay are in the Kepler. Okay. Computer bay is a room in the Kepler. Computer bay is a room in the Kepler. Okay, let's not say that. A room in the Kepler. Because the Kepler is not defined yet, I move the Kepler down here. So if I start mentioning things like is a room in the Kepler, it doesn't know what the Kepler is yet. Interesting. So sometimes order means, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I think it's expecting, like, I cannot say southeast is a room, is some room, and I haven't defined it, I guess. But now this is less redundant. I can say I can see all the rooms here. Okay, so you can see cargo base here. It's not connected to anything because I didn't say where it is. South of greenhouse, north of center. All right. The problem here. Let's go with this. The problem here was that it didn't understand labs maybe as a different room than the science medical lab. Let's try it that way. Labs are requests of medical lab. These are science labs. Okay, it didn't give me an error. Maybe I just mistyped something. Okay, perfect. Medical room. So, medical lab is a room. I have to say that because it's the first room. I cannot say it's west of anywhere. I could have made the greenhouse the first room, so it would make more sense that to have that as a hub. But I did this one first because that's where you start. Let's see. Labs are northwest of medical lab. These are science labs. Up center, cargo bay. What else? Machine shop. South of cargo bay. Rec center is southwest of greenhouse. Crew quarters are southwest. Are or is? That's a good question. This is the name of the room, but it's also plural. So I think both are valid. Southwest of rec center. So every time you name something, the game actually creates a dictionary. So machine shop can also be shop. If there's a different room called shop, then there's a conflict, and the game starts like saying, okay, you have to say which one. But if there was only one shop in your game, you don't have to say machine shop every time. And the character is the same for objects, and even for the character, you don't have to type the whole name. You will assume that you know each word on its own, as long as they're not adjectives. But sometimes it doesn't even know what an adjective is. But you can fix that manually. Right. Crew quarters, and last thing is the power plant. Okay, power plant is east of greenhouse. And now I have to add them. Cargo bay, machine shop, rec center, crew quarters, power plant. I don't have any real reason to make a region yet. I know the game has two regions. There's a spaceship and there's a station. I guess if you're in a station, you don't want to hear like noises that should only exist in the ship, and vice versa. So yeah, mostly for flavor. You could have like a time limit, like if you spend time in a region, maybe it might die, and maybe it's like a random encounter or something. Let's see, I did compile this, so now let's see the map. Index. Nice, this is not very different from the map that I got. I have north and south, I have east, I have northwest, and I have southeast. I have medical lab, Kepler. I don't know why there's ML here. I guess that's where I'm supposed to be now. Let's see. Story northwest. Does it change? No, it doesn't change. I guess it showed me the starting room. Okay. And cool thing is I can see more things here. I can see medical lab. It's in room name, proper named. This is a flag. It's telling me this is not the medical room. This is, or a medical room. Printed name. So you can actually name your room something and make the printed name something else. This is very cool because you may have a maze. Maybe different parts of the maze have different names, but you may be having only one room actually. You just change the name every time the player moves, for example. Description, region. So every exit in this game is an object too. It's not just a flag or something, I think. Add north, northeast, south. Oh, these are like shortcuts. So I can say something like inside. And automatically add this. Inside from medical lab is. This means I can go in or I can enter. For example, let's say inside from medical lab is a healing pod or something. Inside healing pod. That means there's an actual room here called healing pod that you go in by saying in or enter or something like that. Oh, these are all the times I've played. It records every single list of actions. I can use a macro. So let me see. If I do in, I'm inside healing pod, and I say out, I'm inside the medical lab. Can I enter a healing pod? No, because a healing but there's no such thing. And I didn't make an object called healing pod that you can enter. So the game doesn't understand this, just enter in. You could say like, if you have a house, you could say enter house, and the game you will just interpret that as going in. Right? Okay. Well, that's not really a room, so I'm going to delete that. Okay. I can do parts. I believe I can do volumes and stuff. So let me see. Part volume. Volume. Headings. I can use headings. Okay. Headings. What are headings? Volume, book, part, chapter, or section. So I can do chapter and I can do section. So I could do, I can split this into section 1, Kepler, and I could do section 2, the Istari. That's the name of spaceship. That means it's just easier to understand my code here. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, hi Veru. No, I'm actually writing for a text adventure game. Let me see. I can run this. And I have my own game. Let's start walking northwest. Labs. These are science labs. So everything I've done so far is only write English, kind of. Of course, the game wants its very specific kind of English. It doesn't understand like anything you say, but that's just a format of the language. Let me see. Northwest. You cannot go that way. Southeast. Medical lab. Inventory. Your muse. Greenhouse. North. Op center. North. Computer bay. You cannot go that way. Power plant. Cargo bay. Machine shop. Rec Center, crew quarters. Crew quarters. This is where the crew usually rests. There are several bunks. Bunks, plural. Let's compile that again and try going to crew quarters. Right. Nice. Nice. Now I'm kind of out of ideas to add to the game right now. I thought it would be a cool idea to do this live or save this. What can I do? I guess I could just start adding rooms to the other ship. Sure, why not? It's a very empty game until I figure out what to actually do. Due to, like, no, there's puzzles and stuff. To your question, actually, I am using a PDF from a role-playing game adventure to fill all the information. So I have named this an Eclipse Phase adaptation. So this is based on an adventure path, not really a module, let's say a module for a game, a sci-fi game. I'm thinking about using ChatGPT to fill some description things, but I'm not sure exactly how much I am going to edit that, like just go with it, or I mean I have to change some things. Yeah, let's just add more rooms. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see if I can do a scene. Maybe I can add a window capture to Acrobat. Oh, my face. Oh. So right now I'm using this. By the way, all these games are free, available for free, which is kind of cool too. Right, so what's Istari? This is a different ship, different, you know, filled with monsters and aliens. What's a good? I guess I'll go, I don't know, first I'll start with the docking spar. Whatever that means. I guess it's not an airlock, right? Yeah, this is a little bit more complicated. I don't know exactly how to lay out this. I guess this is west, 1, 2, north is 11. Alright, I'll do that. The Istari. Do I want to? I don't want to connect them exactly just yet, so I'm just going to say docking spar is a room. The Istari is a region. Docking spar R, because I'm going to add more. Docking spar and west is utility bay. It's west of docking spar. North missile storage. Utility bay. Let's compile this and see my map. So these two are not connected. So the program decided to just start making the map over here. It makes sense. Now this is not a map that you publish, it's just referential, so it's just for help. Cool thing is I can do this. Missile storage is north, this is what, 12? Missile launcher. I'm not going to say this is northeast, I could say this is inside. So I'm going to say inside from the rocket, the missile storage. Let's use the shortcuts for fun. Inside from missile storage is missile launcher. Now let's add something else. South 3. South from utility bay is drone docking bay. South docking bay. Now I cannot go there. I haven't made any way to go there, but there are certain ways I could do that. I could just make an exit that goes to a room. I could do like a button that you push and then you just get teleported there. Yeah, so I mean, I can just change the starting location. I can say the player is in the... No, let's comment this. Say the player is in the docking spar. Now I'm in the docking spar. The index changed because now docking spar is bolded. That's the starting location now. West, utility bay. North, missile storage. In, missile launcher. Out, and so on and so forth. We add more rooms here. Right, so I have this 1, 2, 3, 4. So I should probably go in order, numeric order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's change that a little bit. Missile storage is will be later. Let's say try to keep it to numbers. So 1 docking spar, utility bay. 3 is docking bay, drone docking bay. West from utility bay is power controls. I should have added a map, maybe a map overlay here. Yeah, I guess I can do that. Let me see. Can I make this smaller? And just something like this. Not really. I mean, kind of yuck. I don't know if that's worth it, but okay. So 4, that's okay. Power controls, okay. 5 recycling. Where's 5? Oh, 5 is all the way around. So actually, yeah, I cannot do this in order. So I did it for nothing. Put this back. All right. So missile storage, missile launcher, power controls. See, docking spar, utility bay. This is. So, note how this format is different than the one I'm typing by hand. West from utility bay is the way the game wants the automatic to do it, but I like to do this way. Utility bay is west. Power controls is west from utility bay. I like this more. Inside from south from drone docking bay is south from utility bay. Is it correct? Missile storage, this is wrong. Missile storage, missile launcher is okay. Docking bar's room. Okay. Utility bay is west from docking, off from I guess from drone docking bay is south. This was first. Okay. Docking spar, utility bay, missile storage, missile launcher, drone docking bay, power controls. Okay. Let's do 15. That's no, 15 is a tunnel, so that's not it. 7 is life support. I have to make sure I don't I don't name 2 rooms the same. Life support is south from. No, it's west from. Power controls. 6 medical bay. Now I have problems because I have medical bay, but the other is medical lab, so that's okay. I can have different named medical rooms. Medical bay is north from life support. Recycling is east. No, it's fine. East from medical bay. Okay. And then 8 is crew area. Is north from medical bay. And the last one is 9, op center. Now I have a problem. I have op center twice. How do I name this one? Starry op center is north from crew area. And I guess I can. There might be a problem here if I try to say just op center. Let's see what happens. Power controls, life support, medical bay, cycling, crew area, starry op center. Aha, the star is a region, but starry op center, which I notice is another sentence, seems to now to be declared as new region. It's because it thinks starry is a region is referring to the op center, because I defined the op center first. But if I define starry first, then I think it will notice. It will realize that it's 2 different things. Yep. So first the starry is a region. And now the starry op center is something else. That kind of thing have to keep in mind. Right now we have two maps. We have a cool looking space station that's kind of like an, you know, circular thing, I guess. Is it? I don't know. And I have a spaceship that has, you know, the entrance has a UB. Oh yeah, I'm probably covering this with this. That's okay. Let me move this. This is not OBS. Alright, so do they look similar at all? That's a good question. Let me see. So DS, this is UB, this is missile whatever storage, this is DO, no, DD, okay, this is PC, this is LS, this is MB, this is RC, this is CA, and this is the up center, IO. Cool. So they are the same layout, I guess. And then, of course, I could go, you know, start making like tunnels, like a network of, you know, vents or something, I guess. This, I think these are like, I don't know if these are vents or entrances from space. So there probably needs to be a space room, like just, you know, walk outside the ship. And there are a few places, I mean, the game itself gives you the option to infiltrate the ship from like breaking a window or something like that. You don't break a window. Do you break a window in a ship? I mean, if they were in a spaceship, I suppose. A spacesuit. Yeah, I'm not going into that because this game is not really a game at all yet. This is just a sequence of rooms. So let's assume I wanted to actually make a game. That means I need something to do, a puzzle or something that can kill you. Let's see. Dr. Bot. Let's start with Dr. Bot. What is Dr. Bot? Dr. Bot is a robot that's in the medical room, in the medical labs. Maybe you can turn on Dr. Bot and Dr. Bot will murder you. Sure, let's try that. Let's try something fun like that. Dr. Bot is a person. I know it's a robot, but it's right now person is the only class definition for like NPCs. So Dr. Bot is a person. Can I describe Dr. Bot? Dr. Bot is a popular series of medical droids. This one is currently offline. Instead of turning on, I don't know if that's a verb, switching on maybe, Dr. Bot say Dr. Bot wakes up and cuts you in half with his medical buzz. So how do now I have to do that screen of some sort. Let me see. I actually have a game where that happens, so let me look it up. A little bit of copy paste here. Instead of, okay, so since there's multiple spots here, I should be, instead of turning on Dr. Bot, say this, semicolon, and end the story saying you have died. Technically this goes inside, but I think if I do this it won't show the actual period inside the text. So now we have kind of a game. There's something that happens, so let's see if that works. Instead of turning on Doctor, yeah, the problem here is that Doctor, there's a period here. The name that cannot contain a period, a dot, because that's a different sentence now. Dr. Bot is a person. Try commenting this. Does it agree that Dr. Bot is a person? No. Room section the Kepler. Doctor, yeah, it thinks Doctor is a sentence and Bot is a person. I can call it Dr. Bot is a person. The printed name is Dr. Bot. So now I'm doing something slightly different. Instead of relying on the engine to just give names to things, use the name as the vocabulary. It's letting me define like an arbitrary name, and then I'm telling the program what the actual printed name is. So look at Dr. Bot. Look at Dr. Bot. Look at Bot. Because I haven't said it's a person in the medical lab. It's just person. I didn't say where it is. It's not here. Now, the problem now is that I have two things saying, describing the Dr. Bot. I have this, and I can, oh, this is the printed name, sorry, this is the, so instead of doing this, I can say, I can remove this text from here, which is what usually happens. A diligent Dr. Bot sends by, this is no longer part of the room description. Instead, the Dr. Bot is a person, the printed name is it the printed name? What's the difference from description? The description is, I don't know if this is the same or different. Printed name is Dr. Bot. You kind of have to decipher how the language works sometimes. Alright, so the diligent Dr. Bot sends by a fully equipped surgical setup to score station computer. Oh, this is different thing. Okay. A fully equipped. No, I could just leave this where it was. Just say was it like this? I don't remember. I can check. I have ChatGPT. I don't really have any ideas for the bot. I know that the bot will kill you. I'm kind of making this like basically placeholder. It is going to, there's going to be more to it. Like maybe you have hints that the station's corrupted before you start turning on crap. The end result is that if you upturn the bot, it will kill you. So it's not. I'm kind of doing things out of order right now. But yeah, you're right. There should be a mood. There should be something that tells you something's wrong. Right now, you just woke up. Yeah, it's a little bit like how programming works. Sometimes you just have the idea first, and then you go backwards and start to justify why it's killing you, or what hints you have. How it's why is it unfair or unfair that it just kills you. I mean, if it was a Sierra game, it would just kill you and you say tell it to reload. But not yet. It is about playing with the interface and trying to kind of make a game. But I'm not too hung up on the like making a full game right now, like making a full working game that people can just start playing from the start. I'm going to multiple passes and things. It kills you. Then you wake up again, see previous you dead on the floor. That's actually part of the setting that I haven't considered yet. That's true. You could have some functionality where you dying ends up you reviving in different body, even the different body, because the game allows you to have like different, completely different functions. Like you can be like an octopus in space, and because this is a this is a role-playing game, you have 6 players or something. I'm turning into a single-player game. Maybe the other 5 bodies are just inert and just keep dying and just getting the next one. So yeah, that would be something interesting that might happen. And it's not that hard to program here. This engine allows you to have multiple PCs, multiple bodies. I get it. You look at it from the fiction. I also do that. But I kind of already know what the fiction is in this particular game because somebody else kind of wrote it. So I'm not trying to make a lot of changes. More like, oh, how do I fit this puzzle into a format that's for like a text adventure game, right? This is kind of like, I don't know if you play Zork, you know, those old games, or those kind of games, but basically you can just say, oh, well, this is a role-playing game. The player can do whatever they want, right? Everything has to be premeditated by the writer. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out, okay, this thing will happen, but how is this something that will happen? What do you have to do actually to make it happen? Like, how do you need a tool? I need to open this, hatch. Do you need a tool? Maybe the tool is in a different room. It's not like, oh, you can improvise some way to open the hatch, right? It's a puzzle. It has like steps. Maybe there are multiple ways. I don't know. Mithril. Or Mithril. I don't know if I've watched this. I've been watching a few streams with people playing things like I don't know if horror games. I've seen people play Gabriel Knight, like Sierra games. Not a lot of people play just text games. I don't know if you've seen a newer game that's called The House Abandoned, which is kind of like homage to the old games. That was an interesting one. Yeah, I never played it, but I basically cannot play it because I already watched the whole thing. So if I play, I will just redoing whatever everybody else did. So there's some. I think I own the game, but I never installed it because this guy spoiled it. I spoiled myself completely. Stasis and Kane. I don't think I've heard of those games. Stasis, that sounds familiar. Stasis, Kane. Yeah, those are more like some sort of third person, but adventure games. So they look like RPGs, but I think they're more like adventure, like linear adventure games, right? Yeah, I like that kind of game. Yeah, they kind of have the the perspective if you were playing Torment or something like that. but then you find out you don't have stats, you just do things. Which is cool because actually that's my favorite kind of game. I like when they have RPG elements sometimes, but I usually prefer the game itself being like a cool story and not so many fights and shooting and scores. Yeah, like Square for Glory. Yeah, you can find you want to find goblins. You go to this specific room in the woods and just kill goblins. But it's actually a Sierra game, right? You actually have to climb, find a rope. Except you have Square for Glory. You have multiple options. You can cast levitate. You can have a rope. You can be a rogue. Most Sierra games don't do that. Most Sierra games the rope is in this room, you have to pick it up, go back, use it. Yeah, but yeah, I know. I played like every single Sierra game back then, and yeah, it was a cool change when they added stats and stuff. Yeah, Indiana Jones had more like action sequences, like kind of actiony. Like a Street Fighter scene, something like that. Oh, 3 routes. Oh, I see what you mean. I don't remember exactly why you had, like, where you had those 3 routes, but yeah, I think it was just, do you want the action route or the adventure route, right? More like what kind of game you want to play in this chapter. Yeah, Brains and Brawn partnership route. I remember the Brains and Brown. I don't remember the partnership. I guess the partnership is like you control 2 characters. Basically Brains, but your puzzle are more like you push this and I will do this other thing. Switch back and forth. Yeah. Actually, the older games from Lucasfilm, like Zack McCracken and Manic Mansion, were basically meant to be multiple, like always partnership route all the time. So I guess it's a throwback to that. Like you start with a single player, but then you have to at least in Zack McCracken you start with one character and then you have 4, and they don't. It's still the main character is still the main character. In Manic Mansion, all the characters were kind of like equals. Yeah, Day of the Tentacle. The thing is, Day of the Tentacle had completely different places, so you really cannot interact with each other. Like you have different maps, and you can interact. You exchange items. But the first Manic Mansion, you were all three of your characters could be in the same room. You just give things to each other. Sometimes you just 2 characters went to a room and you had to each pull a lever or something at the same time, or make one pull the lever, the other one without moving him away, the other one had to pull the other lever, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was simplified, I guess. But yeah, those are really good. LA games, the LucasArts games. Yeah, I was a big fan of Zack McCracken when I had my Commodore. Because Sierra was PC, and PC was much later, like I don't know, 4 years later, or 2. Yeah, I remember. I think my first Sierra game was like 87 or 88. This game from like 85. So yeah, usually I don't know if they predate exactly, but something like that. I don't know. I didn't own a PC back then. It's what I mean. Like my PC was I used to have Commodore 64. Then like 2 years later, I changed to a PC. So that's why I experienced the Lucasfilm games first. There was no Commodore version of most Sierra games, except the one with the Donald Duck, I think. Yeah, my dad was a computer engineer, an IBM 2 here in Peru, but it was very hard to bring computers in the 80s here. It would have like a very like imports. All imports were banned, so he managed to like almost smuggle a Commodore to the country. Uh, and much later, when everything was more free, we were able to get PCs and everything. Yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, basically, yeah, I'm in Peru. It's all over the place. Like all the like across the years, we have dictatorships and we have like democracy, and I haven't experienced much before that. When I was born, we were a democracy, but the president was still like, "Oh yeah, everything is banned, and you cannot import anything. Like we have to protect our economy." And everybody had like a Volkswagen Beetle, and I think Toyota Coronas were the only two models of cars that people had for like 4 or 5 years. And yeah, computers were like crazy hard to get. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. Well, this wasn't. I don't know if this was related to US. I think it was just the president itself was like of a party that didn't want, was like super protectionist. So this wasn't like a US banning exports to Peru or boycotting or something, or it wasn't even like a president that was planted by other governments. More like one of the big parties, like I don't know how to say it, because nowadays politics here is like more freeform. Like you can just be a candidate from like some unknown party and just nobody knows anything about you. Back then you had like 4 political parties and they were like super, like they have memberships and everything. Oh yeah, maybe it was a reaction. Yeah, that's sure. That's for sure. Like yeah, they're doing that. Yeah, the guys are going to be like against any interference, so no imports. Maybe that's true. I don't remember that. I was very young. I'm only in my 40s now, so I mostly experienced the part where like it was annoying and or horrible, having like food shortages and stuff, but I don't remember exactly like which country was doing what. Oh yeah, for screw. What? Yeah, I'm almost 50. Yeah, yeah. So very cool. But yeah, I remember those days. So I always been a fan of these games, and uh, somewhere in the 90s, 2000s, they started like reviving these Infocom games with, oh, you can play it now on a Windows computer with this interpreter. Somebody came out with, oh, but you can, there's a programming language and you can just make the game and it works on the old computer. So to me that was amazing. Nowadays I just like doing this stuff. I don't know if this is very streamable content, but I'll try. I will try to do it. Swahili. Well, you know don't understand my English very well. What's I don't understand. What's what do you mean? I have a thick accent. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you mean. Oh, a coder. Okay, I see what you mean. All right. So Infocom was a company made games called Zork, Sorcerer, Hitchhiker Guides to the Galaxy, and a bunch of other stuff. and they have this kind of language that they used, and it created a file. But this file was not a program itself. It didn't run on the Commodore or the PC. You could, kind of like how Java is now, you can just copy paste in a different computer and just have a different like program running it. So they made Zork once, and now it's done. You don't have to. They don't have to now make an adaptation for the PC, an adaptation for Macintosh. They just need to make the little code that runs the game. So it's kind of like that. They just they can just use use the same engine and just paste a new game. Having no graphical requirements. Well, I don't know if you know, but Zero Games kind of do the same. They have a thing called AGI, which is the old ones had, which is almost kind of like their own language too. So they have their own format for like graphics. So they can actually take the same game from the PC and run it on a, let's say, I don't know, Atari or Commodore Amiga, I don't know, and then just as long as the exe is there, the Sierra.com is there, you will understand that it's a different game, but it has all the instructions to run the game, like how to draw a room, like, oh, I make a green line here, there's an object, what are the pixels? So Lucasfilm did something similar. So you can have the same kind of game with graphics, but yeah, obviously you cannot just move the graphics from VGA 256 colors to like a Commodore, right? It doesn't work. But that's why the Sierra Games had this horrible resolution, because they actually wanted them to work on the PC and then an Amstrad or something. It has like half of the resolution. So you can have graphics and can do the thing. And Sierra Games before VGA had like line drawn rooms with fields, like this is a mountain, this is 3 lines, and this is dither field, gray, whatever, I don't know. So you can just give that to a different computer will do the same thing. It's not like a JPEG, right? And then later games started using like digital images. That's when you just kind of have to stick to the same format. So obviously having text adventure games is much easier. You don't have to worry at all about anything. If you run something like Zork on your mobile phone, you can run it in an application that shows like it was I don't know, iMessenger or something. I have a version that shows like a chat, so you're chatting with the game with the bubbles. So you say look at room in your chat bubble, and the game will respond the room is empty in another chat bubble. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. You only have to print the text. But there were versions of this that have graphics, right? Well, have a good night. I'll probably end this stream soon because I kind of ran out of content anyway. I'm probably will try to write something in some paper or something later. Right? See ya. Thanks. All right, let's see. I have all my rooms. Oh yeah, I wanted to check if the robot will kill you. Let's see. Turn on. Is that a thing? Turn on your muse. I cannot switch my muse. Get bot. Examine Dr. Bot. So the problem here is that Dr. Bot is not a real noun that I can use to refer to the bot now. How do I call Dr. Bot in a way that doesn't confuse the parser with the dots and stuff? It's a good question. I could just change it. I can just say it's called Dr. Bot. So let's do that for now. Unibots or scenery. Diligent. Eat healing bats, Prometheus, Hera, new morph, diligent Dr. Bot. Okay, new morph. Right, this went back to the normal, to the previous version of this. I mean, I can just get rid of the name and name it differently. So let's just call him Dr. Bot like a modern thing. Dr. Bot is a person in a medical lab. The description is Dr. Bot is a popular series of medical droids. You can see Dr. Bot here. So Dr. Bot is not scenery. So the game will tell you that Dr. Bot's here. This is kind of annoying because now we have two reference to Dr. Bot. If you wanted to, I could remove this, or I could put that as a descriptor. So let's say I say a diligent doctor sends by, and this could be the printed description is. So the way this works is that the program assumes that if you just write something in quotes, that's one of the properties of the object. For rooms, is always the textual description of the inside of the room, right? But for objects, it is the description that shows the object in the room. So if I say a diligent Dr. Bot sends by, okay, the period is outside the boats. So if I put it inside, it will show it inside. A diligent Dr. Bot sends by. Examine Dr. Bot, or look at Dr. Bot. Dr. Bot is a popular series of medical droids. One is currently offline. Turn on Dr. Bot. He isn't something you can switch. So I said instead of turning on Dr. Bot, usually it will try to do the thing. It will see if this is something that can be switched on. This is actually a property of objects. You can say this is switchable. That doesn't do anything. That just means, oh, it is on, or now it is off, right? But we don't want to have a switchable robot right now. We have a robot that if you switch on, it just kills you. So there's no point in making the whole thing of, is he on, is he off? It's just either dead or you're dead. So it's either idle or you're dead and the game is over. Also, we don't want, like, if I was to make like the multiple lives thing, the Dr. Bot's not going to still be alive, kill you every time. We need to make the Dr. Bot like somehow go back to its dormant state, right? So you can turn it on every time it will kill you. So it's a single action. There's no state. He doesn't have an on state from a game development perspective, at least. So instead of turning on Dr. Bot, now is turning on a verb? I don't think it is. I think it's something like switching. Turn on. Let's look for turn on. What's turning something on? Backside, turn on, switching on, no. Switch on. Okay, I think it's switching on. So switching, instead of switching on Dr. Bot. No, that also doesn't work. Oh, Dr. Bot is wrong. Sorry. I forgot I changed the name. Dr. Bot. And now switching. Yes, that works. Okay, at least that compiles. Turn on Dr. Bot. Dr. Bot wakes up and cuts you in half with his medical also. I mean, it's because it's not a guy, it's a robot, and it's not really even an android that you can has an identity. Right. So now I have gameplay. If you can call that gameplay. You can turn on the robot, and the robot can kill you. Now, you wanted to avoid this, there has to be some kind of warning. I'll have to think about this. How do you know you have turned it off, or do you know you should not turn it on? I mean, you start with your description of, the muse flickers on, diagnostic, local mesh is down, something seems to be jamming wireless signals. I think the game should probably start with a conversation with your muse, like, oh, ask muse about things, right? Ask muse about mesh. Why is Dr. Bot off? If you look at it, maybe it will tell you, it's odd that it's off. Like this, they're supposed to be on standby, and this one, somebody turned it off for some reason. And then you could say, okay, maybe reason that is, evil. I don't have an answer to that yet. I haven't thought this through really. There needs to be an actual quest. I mean, I think this is a good map. Usually the problem with when I make games is that I think of a big area of things. Like I want to create an office, I start like adding rooms and floors and an elevator that works. But that's not how you're supposed to design text adventures. You're supposed to make the rooms that have some meaning. And you can have in between rooms that are like, you can have some useless rooms. Like you can pad the game a little bit. So it's okay to have rooms that don't have to do anything in them. But you're not supposed to this is not a simulation. You don't have to simulate. Oh, I have a military bunker. I clearly need the schematics and 100 rooms of a military bunker. You need 4 rooms where you're working. Then maybe some corridors to connect them. Some flavor rooms, and that's it. But the good thing is, since this is an RPG, most of these rooms have something to do in them. In the book. So I'm not going to spoil. I probably warned if there are spoilers, but not just yet. And I mean, this map is kind of a spoiler, but I think you can get a map. I'm not telling you what happens. But if I start like actually, spoiling the plot of the game, I will maybe do a warning. I don't know. We'll see. But in general, I think this is a pretty compact game. So if you compare this to other games, they will have like 20 rooms or something like that. I only have, how many are there here? 11. And 10. There's 21 rooms. That's it. Maybe an extra room for like exterior, or more than 2. Whatever, however many. Like maybe outside each area is a room. Like, oh, you're outside drone docking bay. there's like an elevator here. Like every exit maybe should have their own exterior area, and they're just connected. Like, oh, this one is just east. No, you don't have to navigating like 10 rooms to get to another door. That doesn't make any sense. So it should be like maybe it's like kind of like fast travel, because you normally have to in the map you will have to be moving 4 or 5 rooms. If you go through the airlocks, you just move out northwest and inside, and you're like in a different area. That makes sense. What else can I do here? I don't know. I don't know if I have to. Maybe I should. Maybe this is a good place to stop the stream. I won't do anything off screen, but I will come up with some ideas at the very least. Maybe I can have some descriptions, because I've been using, actually I've been using, let me see, ChatGPT to create some things, and it's pretty cool. I tried Bard from Google, but Bard is not very, I don't know, smart is a word. It's kind of stupid. That's true. It makes like this. You ask him for a description of a room, it's just saying stuff that makes no sense at all. And this one is, I always find the description of rooms from ChatGPT are really inspired. They're like, initially the game gave me this thing like, this is a prompt. Okay, so I'm trying to write a text adventure game that's set in the universe of Eclipse Phase. So ChatGPT knows what Eclipse Phase is, because it has been trained on internet stuff, and this is a product. It's available. He has access to the the product description from the shop or something. So I can say, yes, I'm familiar with Eclipse Phase. It's a tabletop role-playing game created as an apocalyptic future with a humanity spread the solar system, transfer consciousness with different bodies. So it will take these things into account. It knows. I mean, it doesn't know anything. It's a language person, whatever thing. I don't know what's the name is. It's not a creature that knows things, but it has a database. The database includes things like, this is a solar system thing. The people can transfer consciousness. Hard fiction, horror, conspiracy elements. Game explores themes, impact of advanced technology in society. So it knows all these things, and this is basically just the synopsis of the game. You don't need to read to know the content of the rules. So if I ask him to give me like echo bridge and explain that's the thing you use to transfer consciousness, it will say, oh, that makes sense. I know the game. In the game you can transfer consciousness, so that's the device. So I will say something cool about it, and it does. So I told him, like, I'm trying to write a text adventure game that is set in the universe of Eclipse Phase. I need some help coming up with some room descriptions. I let you know specific rooms so you can give me some example descriptions. So I say this so it doesn't just straight up answer me, because if I don't say this, you will say, oh, here's some description. You just start spewing things. So no, okay, I'm happy to help. So basically it's telling you, I'm on standby. As soon as you give me something you want, I will help you. Okay. Basically copy the description of the location. It's a medical lab, space station Kepler. It's access to thin medical gowns, medical equipment, and a fabber, a kind of futuristic fabricator. Okay. I don't know if he knows what that is, but I was thinking maybe 3D printer or something. I don't know. For making and disposing of medical supply they might need. This is the instructions in the RPG. Medical bay contains 8 healing baths, 10 morph storage tanks, an echo bridge, a device to upload your consciousness. I added this into a morph. I didn't know if echo bridge was in his vocabulary. A doctor bot, a medical droid, and a fully operational examination. Well, okay, I hope we ignore this line here. examination surgical setup. Okay, give me this huge description. Like, okay, this is a book. This isn't a description. You step in the medical lab, blah blah blah, silicone, rubber elite, surfaces, accents. So it's very, it's kind of, I like how it adds, flavor text to things. Like, oh, this makes you feel, safe. The room reminds of you of, the mother's womb or whatever. I don't know. Bank large of windows. This is, I don't know, it came out with this. Maybe there are original windows. This is, I don't think there are. So I will probably have to correct this. Oh, we just do the outside. Okay, sure. Windows. Fine. One corner of thin medical gowns. Centerpiece of the room. This is too verbose. This is too long. You're not supposed to describe, like, it should be half of a old monitor screen. That's, the old monitors, like a Commodore, had like 20-25 lines. So longer than that is, reserved for like something super epic. But you usually want like half of the screen. You want to move, and you want, the next room to fit on whatever's already there. So I told you, okay, give me, can you be short, please? Keep it to 2 or 3 paragraphs. And I didn't say that beforehand. If I say that here, please keep the descriptions to, 2 or 3 paragraphs, it would have done that from the start. This is something Bart didn't do. I did that, I told him, and then he did whatever he wanted. Now I have this description. The keeper's medical lab emanates a clinical calm, bathed in sterile light. Rows of thin medical gowns hang ready, while nearby Faber hums with the potential to produce essential medical supplies. That's cool. That sounds great. 8 healing baths, gently bubbling, promise rapid recovery. I didn't tell him what healing baths is, but apparently knows. I mean, they call healing baths, so I guess it can infer from like other texts he has. I hope this is not like copy pasting some novel. It's not a copyrighted violation, but it's transformative. I don't think this is like verbatim something. Hope it isn't. Like if a novel somewhere says that there's sterile light, I'm sorry, you can copyright 2 words. But this is a page from a novel, then that's a problem, right? But with all the weird words, I really doubt it. 10 more storage chants, each holding a potential new form. Are they holding a potential new form? I didn't tell it that. I didn't tell ChatGPT they were empty either, so it just assumed. I can easily change that. That could be something dynamic, like actually tell me what is in tanks, and I could manually, program that in the game. Right now that's flavor text. The heart of a room, ego for each invites contemplation, portal transfer of consciousness. Diligent Dr. Bot stands by. Does it stand by? Maybe it's off. No, I can change that. I'm a fully equipped surgical cell underscores fashion commitment to both biological and technological health. Room embodies a delicate balance between cutting-edge medical technology and the ethereal dance of consciousness and morphs. And I like ChatGPT does that kind of thing. It adds flourishes. I don't know what to call this. Embellishments. And I don't do that when I write. I write a very boring rooms and games, so I will use ChatGPT to help me. I will tell it what's in the room, right? This is a crossroads. There's a avenue. There's a policeman. Please give me something that looks good, and it will give me something that looks better than when I came up with. So I am going to do that for all the rooms, and the game, the actual book, doesn't really give me much. Actually, the Istari is pretty decently. All the rooms in the Istari are very descriptive. Like I guess it's because they expect you to explore the other ship. This ship is basically just your home base, and then you kind of get invaded by the other ship that has the actual, danger. So you basically get out of the station initially, just get your bearings, talk to your AI pilot or something. There's nothing that will kill you outright other than maybe the Dr. Bot, which has been hacked. But there's very little. Like literally, I think the text says, in this station there is a medical labs, a power plant, and this and that, and a greenhouse. There's nothing to see in any of them. It doesn't tell you, are there plants? Is there food? How's the greenhouse look like? Nope. So anything I make about the station basically is going to be made up, completely made up, which is kind of annoying because I actually I ran this game. I GM'd this game once. I'm like, oh, you are in a station. There's a medical lab. I guess there's stuff in it. What do you expect there to be? Gowns, globes, right? I mean, it will tell me there's objects, game objects. Like, oh, there are guns. It will tell me there are guns. Everything else is flavor. Like, what's in the labs? There's no mention of the labs other than there are labs. The station includes a medical bay, living quarters, rec area, machine shop, op center, labs, greenhouse, and a fusion generator. Great. All the things. What's in them? Nobody knows. So it's up to you to come up with how do you want to describe it to your players. The other ship has this room has a robot, this room has a gun, and this and that, and acid bats and tools and a machine that you can press buttons on. Very cool. So I don't think I'm going to be doing all that on stream. Maybe I'll write down some texts and just straight up use them. Okay. Well, I think that's enough for now. I am logging off. If you see this later, this is going on YouTube. Probably will be on Twitch for a few days, maybe a week or a month. I don't know what's the minimum, how long these videos stay on Twitch. I think it's not very long for like small streamers. But the good thing is I'm just storing this on YouTube permanently, so that's where you can go if you want to watch them. Anyway, thank you and goodbye.